maintaining the pawn structure.
Okay.
So that's yeah, okay, so...
And Wesley laughs with that last move. White's queen stepped back, so he just played copycat. He retreated the black queen as well, and it's completely symmetrical, pretty much, the pawn structure. If White was able to occupy the centre with the pawn, but no, Fiouzja playing instantly up to this point, bring his bishop out from a different angle. Again, a very rare setup for White, but Black's position looks harmonious. Defending everything, Black has a rock-solid pawn centre, Black, nice pawn structure there. I don't think Wesley has any problems. He brings his bishop out now.
I was going to say, this whole setup had my kind of like memory cells just jingling a little bit. And I was thinking, didn't Alexander Grischuk beat Fabiano Caruana with it?
I think in a rapid game.
In 2018, and it just looked like such an unusual setup. It looked completely unambitious for White, but it was very effective.
Yeah, so I think in that game, did White just push a pawn forward now, attacking that black bishop, which has just created a pin? Just trying to recall how that game went. Yeah, Black's position, it looks nice, and if he doesn't make any mistakes, any concrete blunders, he's going to be very happy, Wesley. So this is his type of position as well, just very solid, everything protected.
Yeah.
Okay, Fiouzja spending a long time for a blitz game, 46 seconds there, kicking that bishop back.
You're right, David. We are repeating the game exactly. And in that game, after this queen move, Black simply just defended the bishop by moving it to the f6 square. And then the kind of weirdness continued because the queen actually advanced to the e3 squared.
Yeah. So right now, Black's dark squared bishop is under fire. You need to protect or move it. Those are the only real options for Wesley. In that game, the bishop moved. You can defend it with your rook. That feels a bit shaky as well. You might walk into a potential pin on this e-line. Okay, huge decision here for Wesley. So he's burning a bit of time on the clock, so maybe he's not aware of this previous game. Or maybe he's aware of it, just trying to recall his analysis. Maybe he hasn't looked at it since 2018.
Yeah, because I remember 2018, Fabiano Caruana was like the one playing this opening. OK, so he has moved the bishop out of the way.
If I remember correctly, Wesley was at that tournament where the game happened, and he did win the tournament where that game happened, if I recall correctly. So, OK, the white queen stepping forward. This is still a replica of that previous game between Grischuk and Caruana, and now White's queen is trying to kind of zigzag its way into the position. She wants to kind of go off to the right to the f4 square and attack Black's knight in the centre, which is actually pinned by White's dark squared bishop. So, OK, a big threat in the position.
Yes, and in fact, that game continued with Black attacking the queen with the rook, and now the zigzag pattern that you mentioned was put into operation because the queen came. OK, we're going to see it. I think Wesley, has just forgotten. I mean, this line is so unusual that why would you remember it? The queen now steps forward, and OK, now we have a difference because there's been a trade of rooks.
OK, it feels like this... OK, the evaluation bar as well has gone all the way in White's favour. Wesley playing that move, happily smiling, leaning back, but it feels... I mean, I see two moves that are already very tempting for White. Firstly, you can push a pawn forward. You can kick away Black's bishop on the edge of the board. You can push White's g-pawn in front of the white king forward 2 squares, kick away that bishop. You're gaining space, you're attacking pieces. Look at Black's piece development as well on that left side. There's going to be huge threats against the Black king on the back rank because Black is not fully developed. And... wow. I don't know if there's another winning move. I kind of want to bring the white queen across as well. OK, he does push this pawn.
The winning move is this, David.
OK. And now there's so many tempting options, though. I probably wouldn't trade those bishops. Maybe you can as well.
I think you can.
You can as well. OK, you can also push... OK, he does trade. And now you can push a pawn forward.
And that's it. And all you need to do is...
OK, he doesn't go for that. He brings his queen across.
I thought he would attack the... He would attack the bishop.
Yeah, I guess the bishop would have traded itself for a knight, and that would have been maybe some chances to escape, probably not. But, OK, this is another move I was attracted to. Very sensible. White has a double threat. White's queen is threatening to just go up and take a pawn on the same line, on the B line. Black's B7 pawn undefended. But also the queen and bishop, look at them, teamed up. They are threatening to penetrate along this diagonal. White's queen trying to jump up next to the black king and giving a deadly check. This is just almost game over. White's going to win a pawn for sure. Black has to stop the threat, the more dangerous threat of White's queen coming to the f8 square and giving check. That's the more urgent threat to deal with.
Yeah, and you can do that by attacking... First of all, you can do that by developing your knight, is what I wanted to say.
Yeah, so Black's knight, one of the black knights will move right now, and then White will just go up a pawn for free. white's queen will go and take that black pawn on b7.
Okay, so he develops and queen takes pawn, and the rook moves to the side.
Okay, so white's upper pawn pretty much for free. The only downside for white long term is that the white king is slightly exposed, but yeah, I don't think that's a factor for the next few turns at least. White's knight there going to the side. There's also, I mean, black's knights are just so passive. That's why Wesley So is trying to activate them, even at the cost of a few pawns. He's saying, take all my pawns, I don't care. I'm just going to bring my knights into the action. And in practical terms, he's got some chances, Wesley So. It's bad. In classical chess, in long chess, he would lose here. But some chances while the white king is a bit open, if black can activate his pieces, and he's activating his knight. Black's 2 pawns down, but finally his pieces are entering the action.
Okay. So the rook has attacked queen, queen takes the pawn, but now there's a lot of option actually on the board. I mean, I was thinking that maybe the black knight can step forward to the f4 square, and instead we see rook takes pawn.
So only 2 pawns again now for white. I like this one. It separates the white structure as well. Black's rook eyeing up a few pawns. And, okay, Fiouzja, his pieces are a bit offside suddenly. The white knight, and I'm looking at the white knight and the bishop on their left there. They're not really contributing.
Maybe you can just play simple chess and just start caging in the black rook.
You want to retreat a knight to cage in that black rook, stop that black rook from ever running away. That makes sense, a lot of sense. Fiouzja, I think we'll see him do something like that. He's done well on the clock so far as well. He's been very, very quick after this tricky opening. I'm going to remember this opening and just save it up for like to surprise an unsuspecting opponent.
It was super popular in 2018 after this huge game, and then suddenly it died down.
I think people just found that it's not that dangerous if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But clearly, even the top players, sometimes if you play the most natural moves, you get into trouble. So you really have to study what's going on. And, OK, white's bishop has jumped in. That's covering some squares. So Jovanka earlier mentioned the black knight wanting to jump to the f4 square towards the white king. That's been prevented. But if you look at the tension on the D line right now, it feels like there's a potential pin incoming. If black's knight moves, the queens are on the same line, on the same file.
Yep, totally agree there.
I'm not sure exactly how black can take advantage of that.
Well, I was just thinking it's probably possible just to move the knight to the b6 square, attack the queen and knight.
You want to trade, though?
I want to trade. Okay.
I would have stepped in a different direction maybe, but here Wesley says, yes, we can trade, but in a tricky way. So now that black knight cannot be captured by white's bishop because there is this pin on the d file, on the d line. Okay, so white's knight can take. I guess the black rook would then step back and recapture. That might actually just be winning for black, so white has to be super careful. Despite what the evaluation bar says, one slip in the wrong direction for either side, and it's game over. This is such a crazy position. Pieces all over the board. I
know, and there's a potential for pins in every single move. I know.
They're all in the air.
Like one move that kind of immediately I'm drawn to is actually just moving the queen to the c6 square, and suddenly the black knight is pinned to the rook.
Sophisticated. I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been a winning move. And
we'll see. Okay, so
white knight stepping back.
Stepping back. This was also a nice idea that I had. So the whole point is that if black does grab material, say bishop takes knight, then pawn takes bishop, then suddenly the D line is just opened. And I feel that only one person can benefit there, and it will be white.
Yep. White's pieces would start pouring forward. So, OK, will black eliminate that knight that has just retreated, and take it with his bishop? I don't see anything else to do, to be honest. Black's rook is actually caught in no man's land right now. If you don't find a way out for that black rook, it might just get trapped behind enemy lines. White's knight will start going after it. White's queen will start going after that black rook. So you have to get rid of this piece.
OK, pawn takes. And now the knight jumps forward. Gosh.
Wow.
It's all heating up. So many things in the air, OK?
White can even just take that knight, maybe. And, yeah, Wesley So, he's brought his knight. It looks like there's a pin. It looks like white's bishop cannot take this knight because the white queen would be hanging to the black queen. But then after the white queen drops, the white rook is going to spring up to the top of the board.
But he's missed it.
OK, but maybe this is good as well. I don't know.
OK.
OK, he's taken one of the black knights.
Oh, what an amazing resource that you highlighted there. Background
that would have kept things simple, but... maybe black could have defended an endgame. Here, black is a piece down, but look at the white king on this second row. It's under serious fire right now. Black is threatening to move the knight away and discover check against the white king.
Yeah, but the white king can just simply
step
forward.
Be brave here, Fiouzja. That is the message from Ivanka. The white king can march forward out of this second row. Whoa, that takes nerves of steel, but
even
forced.
move forward to one row. OK, so he's done it.
Yeah.
And
maybe there's no more threats. Anywhere the knight wants to check, it's covered by the white rook.
And you still have the idea that you mentioned, which is if the black queen leaves the bottom row, the rook will come up and give check to the king, and it will be just game over. OK, there is danger here because queen takes pawn is threatened, and that would be deadly. But I like... Is there any kind of snazzy move?
White's knight, I guess, can spring forward to the centre of the board, hitting the black queen and defending that important g4 pawn in front of the white king. You need to keep that guy under lock and key. You need to keep defending that.
Fiouzja, taking a calm approach, just retreats with his queen.
Yeah, sensible. That is nice. Actually, that is kind of the maximum that white can hope for, just keeping maximum control there. And, OK, black's queen looking for a new avenue of attack.
But it's nothing.
No threat, though.
Nothing. And now I just think whites will just move the bishop out of the way. Queen is going to come and give check on the bottom row, and it's just game over. There's nothing to do. We're
about to see Fiouzja in the semi-finals. White is simply a bishop up for nothing, and white is the one actually getting to the black king first. Yeah, as you mentioned, Ivanka, white's queen coming up to the top, giving check. There's actually no sensible way to prevent that other than retreating the black queen. But if you start retreating, and if you're a piece down, it's going to end in disaster anyway.
Wow. 18-year-old Alireza Fiouzja against maybe the best player throughout the tour.
And Wesley, so has he resigned?
Yeah, it looked like it.
Looks that way from both players' cameras. I think Wesley so has resigned. It's a hopeless position anyway, so it would make sense. But Fiouzja, he's not celebrating yet, so we can't celebrate. We can't kind of take that result into account either yet. OK, it looks that way. It must have happened that way.
Yeah.
Wesley with no time either.
I do think we have a winner, and I think it's 18-year-old Alireza Fiouzja. Wesley, so he looks a little bit resigned. Fiouzja has his camera stopped. I would love to see a celebration from the 18-year-old. What do you think he's feeling right now, David?
He'll play it cool. He'll play it calm.